About 10 more seconds. I'm going to go into the intro animation now. And welcome back to another edition of the Daily Crypto Byte. Markets are a little bit down this morning, not only crypto, but the Nasdaq, S&P, and Dow also feeling a bit of pain as well, but we'll talk to that and much more. John, how you doing today this morning?
I'm doing pretty well. I agree, CJ, that when we see broad market sell-offs, just as we did last March and so forth, you pretty much see it in the very short term. Virtually everything pulled down with it. The only thing that's not being pulled down with it is, quite frankly, the U.S. Treasuries, and they are behind a lot of why the market is trading down so hard, because the Treasuries keep pointing towards Nouriel Roubini and his stagflation call, and that's something that obviously none of us really want to see, including Nouriel. Even though I know he loves being right, I know he doesn't want to see stagflation, because stagflation really isn't good for anybody. Although, as I think you and I discussed yesterday with Monty, the stocks that will probably do best are not the value stocks, if indeed we do go to stagflation, which is a big if still. It's not like an assured thing that's going to happen. It's just a possibility. But today, folks, we woke up to the news that Japan had basically said, hey, no fans at the Olympics. I get it. When you've got it, they consider it an outbreak. Some areas of the world, and I'm not trying to be funny here, CJ, but some areas of the world consider single-digit cases an outbreak. Now, in Japan, it's slightly more than that, but it's certainly nothing like we've seen in places like India and so forth. But when they have a zero-tolerance policy, like Australia has, like Japan apparently has, you're going to lock it down, which means nobody in the stands for the Olympics. And at the same time, people worry then that, wow, what about growth? What about the reopening and all the rest? And that's why we came in so negative today. Now we're a little off the bottom, a little. We were down 500 in the Dow in the pre-market. Nasdaq was down about 1.7%, I think, and now we're down 1.3. Still bad. S&P 500 down 54. It was down, I think, 70 on the lows, or 65. But you can't really sugarcoat it. People were raising cash today, CJ.
Oh yeah, and if we go ahead and check out Bitcoin and Ethereum, you can see some critical levels here. Just before the recent crash, we've had these support levels kind of established at about 2,000, anywhere to 2,100 in ETH, and then about 31,000 to just 32,000 in Bitcoin. So ultimately, those are going to be very critical levels for the market. I'm expecting a bounce from those levels if this sell-off in the broader ecosystem of the market is more temporary and based on kind of this COVID overreaction that you kind of put forth just now. So it'll be interesting to see.
Let's see. Taking a look at our crypto greed and fear index, we're at a 20 right now. We were at a 28 just days ago, as we pushed back to 35,000. And then as we pull down as we have today for virtually all cryptos. But I will point out, CJ, that dang AXS that you and I spoke of yesterday, if you were somebody that did decide to do a little trading in that one, and we talked about how it was up triple in 3 days, trading at, I think, the $15 level yesterday, CJ. Today, $13 level, down 10%. So I am covering some of my shorts here. I will probably cover closer to 10, I hope, the rest of those shorts, because This one was just really, really overextended. I think it gave you a nice opportunity to trade it. And we, meaning all of us at Market Rebellion, trade them on both directions, bullish and bearish. Long term, I'm bullish. As many of you know that I've talked about, having my wallet that is just for my HODL positions that's in cold storage. But the rest of what I do is primarily buying coins, I agree, but I do a lot of hedging and a lot of bets on things that I think get overextended. And AXS was one of those that was in the excess to the upside category.
So, what would flip your viewpoints on the more traditional markets to get back into some of the long trade? Because you said you just did cover your shorts. I understand that's not enough to just, go jump right back into a long, but is it a bullish engulfing candle? Is it a surge in volume? Is it a more sentiment-driven effect?
I'm thinking, CJ, that people are pretty comfortable still, and I think the turn would be if we see in the equities market, it would be a turn in interest rates. Doesn't have to be a jump back to 135, 140 for the 10-year, but when the 30-year breaks 2 and then breaks 190 and goes into the 180s in one day, that is pretty big news. In other words, apparently there's an abundance of demand for U.S. bonds and not enough supply. And some of that is because that, we've just had the Treasury, even though they, of course, print money all the time, they also get a lot of money in from tax receipts. And as they get money in from tax receipts, they tend not to put out as many bonds. And it may have been just a great trade for them to, have a situation where the demand for those bonds, of course, when you buy bonds, you push interest rates down. And if that demand was not satisfied, they're going to keep pushing those down. And that's what we've seen, because I don't really think that any of the economic data yet, CJ, justifies. We broke 125 in the 10-year today. Now we're back up to, I think, 127 and a half. But those are pretty big moves, breaking through 130 and then all the way down to 125 in a single session. That's a pretty big move. So a reversal of that would probably be one of my big keys, and then corresponding volume on one way or the other, CJ.
Thank you for that. That's very interesting. Sir, do you have a Doge of the day today?
Let's see. Doge of the day, I'm going to say Binance, because Coinbase has been cracked hard today. Coinbase, the stock can barely get out of its own way. Truly, when they made that announcement, that was at the highs that they were coming out. That was at the highs for Bitcoin. Coinbase traded all the way down to 233 today, CJ. Right now it's $7 off that low. That's not huge, but let's call it a 3% move off the low. That's pretty good. And Binance Coin, I think if you can pick up some of that right around here, right around the 315 level, that looks like a nice level to me. So it's not at the lows where it was, if I pull up, let me take a look quickly, CJ, at the 7-day. On the lows, if you bought it on Sunday, whoops, I accidentally clicked on Tether instead of Binance. Sorry about that. Let's see here. 7-day chart. So the lows that it put in on the 2nd of July were more or less around the 280 level again, which has been pretty firm support. We made a rebound back up into the 337, 340 area, and right now we've pulled back to 312-ish. So I think that's a reasonable spot. I wouldn't load the boat, but if I could get it at 300, I would consider loading the boat, CJ.
Awesome. Thank you for that. My Doge of the day today is going to be somewhat tentative just because of the overall market, but I do think we will likely go up and fill some of those gaps. Not immediately, but eventually in things like the S&P. But until we kind of get a bounce from those support levels on Bitcoin and Ethereum that I had mentioned prior, I'm looking at Mana or Decentraland. Saw a massive surge in buyer volume yesterday, but then was kind of extinguished with this whole broader macro sell-off. So if the market does kind of reverse or get some kind of reaction rally, then I'd look for Decentraland as a target for a lot of that retail capital to flow back into. So that's going to be one that I'm watching, not necessarily entering yet, but it's going to be pretty much in the top of my watch list.
Very cool. And remember, folks, the Daily Crypto Byte is free. It streams every day at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And if you crave a little more information throughout the day, as of course the subscribers to Market Rebellion /crypto, as they demand, well, you can join. They still have that get started for $1 deal. You can sign up for your first month for just $1 to check it out. And then you're in there with thousands of traders, with our mentors and coaches, as well as CJ and Monty, helping you out to understand support and resistance levels for key cryptos and so forth. And it costs you just $1, marketrebellion.com/try crypto. And again, tip of the hat to our sponsors, Voyager. If you type in Rebel25 to the promo code, you will get $25 in Bitcoin just for signing up to Voyager, which is one of the top crypto brokers. They charge zero commissions. They have multiple sources of liquidity. So it's not just they throw your order out there. They have many sources of liquidity and a very good roster of former E-Trade and Uber executives who run that firm. And again, if you type in Rebel25, you get $25 in Bitcoin just for signing up at Voyager. So with that said, I hope all of you have a great day, and you too, CJ.
Thanks, John. Appreciate everyone for watching.